Mr. Speaker.
I call Adrian Rurahui.
Tēnā koe te māngai o te whare. O tērā ki ngā whānau me ngā hapu o Taranaki iwi. Ana iau e tuku mihi atu ki a koutou. Kua tai mai ki te whare nei. Tēnei ahau tuku mihi atu anō hoki ki a rātou mai, whakarongo mai, mātakitaki mai I runga te pauaka whakata. Tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker rather, there's a number of things I want to talk about. The first thing I want to talk about is, and it's in relation to the Taranaki iwi Claim Settlement Bill, but also the other Taranaki settlements as well. And it's about subpart 5, the Regional Council representation. I just want to put my opinion on this because we've been told in this House today that this is about elected representation for the Council, and in fact it's not. It's absolutely not. The governors of the Taranaki region will remain the governors. This is about appointments on standing committees. And as the Minister pointed out, there are representatives from federated farmers. Now, why would you put iwi on there? Well, you'd put iwi on there because there are 8 Taranaki iwi that are affected by everything that the Taranaki Regional Council does and the decisions that it makes. And it's an acknowledgement of the mana whenua and the considerable post-settlement contributions that all of the iwi in Taranaki are about to make or are already making. And so it's really important that their voice is heard at those decision-making tables. It's been said that it's about elected representation. Well, no. Although I agree that if it were the case, then I would agree with that. But that's not about that. It's actually about the voices of the iwi being heard, and I wanted to make that explicitly clear on this bill, but reference it to the other 2 bills as well. Sir, I took the opportunity to read the historical account, not the abbreviated version in the bill, but the full version that was signed in the deed of settlement. I had it on me. My flight was diverted from I was going to Palmerston North and it was diverted to New Plymouth, and I had a copy of that deed on me, and I took the opportunity to read it on a bus travelling from New Plymouth, supposedly to Palmerston North, but I convinced the bus driver to let me off at Wanganui. As we were passing Taranaki Maunga, I was reading this, and I got every historical account that you read is sad. But there's an incredibly sadness about all the Taranaki historical accounts. Beyond anything else I've read. And so I want to acknowledge the negotiators, all of the negotiators, including the Crown negotiators, because we know that this is a negotiated version of the historical account. That means both the Crown and the iwi have to agree to it. And so there were some pretty powerful things in there, as already outlined by the Minister. The depth of resilience of the Taranaki iwi people, particularly through Parihaka, is now part of our legal history and our parliamentary history. And I want to stand and acknowledge not only the negotiators, but everyone that obviously would have had to contribute to the telling of that story. I know that through my own experience that getting that level and that quality of kōrero to be told is not an easy task. Sir, the Minister also mentioned the financial redress. It is a step forward. It's a beginning. It's not the end of the financial, the economic well-being of Taranaki iwi. It's the start. And I remember reading some of the statements that were made at the time that the deed of settlement was signed. And what struck me was the incredible positive focus of those statements made by Taranaki iwi people. I have no doubt that the Te Kāhui or Taranaki iwi Trust is well positioned to turn what is a fraction of what was lost into a positive asset for the future generations. And I commend the Trust for the work that it's done thus far and for the challenges that it will meet into the future. Some of those, and it's great to be challenged, I think. I think it's important not only that we are challenged in that space, but we also take heed of those that don't have a voice. Those, and I'm certain that will happen. I'm not saying that won't happen, but I think that's an important thing to recognise within the economic and financial well-being and the future of all of our iwi. The cultural redress of the settlement as well, I'd like to mention. For me, these settlements, which are made up of those three important parts, the cultural redress for me is so important. It can re-establish a reconnection to our land with our culture, and I note the number of different mechanisms that have been used within the cultural redress of this settlement bill. I think that coupled with the other mechanisms, the financial ones, this will provide the means for Taranaki iwi to move forward into the future. So can I also commend the negotiators who delayed the signing of the deed of settlement, specifically to address the needs of parihaka. Parihaka has to be mentioned in this bill, and it has to be recognised in the House today, and I support the words of the Minister. But it's so important to get that part of this settlement right, and I'm really pleased that Taranaki iwi took the opportunity to delay that deed of settlement. In the end, it hasn't delayed the legislation because they are all going through on the same day, and I think that's something that the Taranaki iwi should be proud of, that they went through those extra steps to make certain that this bill was everything that they wanted it and needed it to be. Nō reira te māngai o te whare. Tēnei anō te mihi ake ki a tātou o tino, ki a koutou kahana kia haramai ki te whare nei. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, kia ora mai tātou katoa.